Tammy Bruce is a Fox News contributor and host of Get Tammy Bruce on Fox Nation. My first guest today in Focus. You have a lot to say about this, and it was interesting to hear Reince Priebus kind of give us contextually the perspective on this, like what it could mean behind the scenes.
Right, and he touched on the fact that Biden and Harris are unusable, and it's not because of their staff. Let me suggest that they really had nothing to work with. But the problem is, and as we heard, as Peter confirmed, that she actually worked with both the president and the vice president.
Symone Sanders.
Symone Sanders, who is the one who most recently to leave. But the problem here is that she worked during the campaign, like 3 years, first with Bernie Sanders and then with Joe Biden. But that entire campaign was about hiding, was about obfuscation. It was about making sure that questions didn't have to be answered, that questions weren't asked, that it was about pretending. Now, that might work during a campaign, but then you get into the White House with real life, life and death, Afghanistan, the economy, energy, and when you've got individuals who've been ushered through with a team that has worked to keep them protected without having to answer questions, that becomes the problem. And so when there's real serious dynamics, you don't know what to tell them, you don't know how to handle it, and you also don't know that the people you're working for don't know what they're doing because no one's been challenged, no one. And this is the natural end result.
Just another thing, too. Symone Sanders is someone that you and I both know from covering Bernie Sanders and all of that. He's one of the most outspoken people. He doesn't dodge a question. In fact, he asks his own questions sometimes. I mean, he likes to talk. This is the polar opposite of that, as you talk about in terms of hiding and staying back from the media, doing the walkaway, that sort of thing. It's also at the other end of the spectrum politically in terms of just how far left Symone Sanders might have been when she walked into this administration.
Well, that's it, and that's part of the problem. Even in one of her statements, it didn't make sense when we think about Kamala Harris being a problem. In fact, maybe she's getting things like her letter stated in some kind of word salad about undoing what's happened before, and it was a wordy kind of sentence that made no sense at all, and I thought, oh, that's part of the problem. Now, let me bring you into this. I'm sitting here. This show is a success because of you and your personality. But you have a team, but it's true, but you have a team that's working with you. But they know you, that you make sure what you want is known. So they're facilitating what you want and who you are. That didn't exist. It existed with Sanders. It doesn't exist with Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. That's the difference. Yes, work with a team, but the team has to have something and someone to work with who has a vision.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but it's also about the people who tune in every day. It's all about them. Look at her polling. Well, look at Kamala Harris's polling. Yes. I mean, she doesn't have a team around her, is what you're talking about. I'm talking about a wider team. Let's take a look at this. The staff departures are just part of the vice president's problems. There have been many reports of a rivalry now between Kamala Harris and her transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg, over who's going to take over the mantle of the party when Joe Biden is done. Now the two of them are hitting the road together today, this morning, to sell the $1.2 billion infrastructure package, a stage show of unity or business as usual. What do you think?
Well, I think the Democrats are still trying to figure out what 2020...
And that's trillion, by the way.
Yeah, what 2024 looks like. That there's this sense of like maybe they don't know each other. Maybe they'll do better together. You can hear them trying to figure out with who the top level is. How do we make this work? But
can they do better together? I think he's got supply chain crisis. She has the border. By the way, reports are that we thought it was coming. They just put the Trump policy back in place. Ordered so legally. Yeah. Stay in Mexico policy. Right. So that's the direction that they're going in. So really, Buttigieg and Kamala Harris are going to look more like what?
They're going to look more like double the problem. This is a man who called...
For Democrats.
For Democrats. This is a man who refers to roads and bridges as racist. This is a woman who laughs and does not answer any serious questions. They're not going to suddenly find a fusion of genius and of being able to answer and of a vision. Of being able to be, all of these individuals have been raised in a Democratic Party that expects nothing of you, and that is about theater. It's never about feeling comfortable with someone who has a vision and power on their own. It's fascinating to watch.
Republicans can take advantage of that.
Well, sure they can if they wanted to.
Politically.
Well, politically, right? I still don't see the advantages that they can take when it comes to... My column today is about the smash and grab looting in Washington through legislation. we see this happening in cities across the country. The Democrats have these wild wish fantasy theories that they implement that destroy people's lives, and they're so obsessed that they can't stop themselves. It's almost like an addiction, no matter what kind of damage they create. And this Buttigieg, Harris, Biden dynamic is a perfect example of the disaster and the catastrophe that gets created.
What I caught there is that Republicans can just step back and watch this sort of this dumpster fire that's being created.
They can, which they've done, but they should take advantage of explaining it and taking ownership of how it can be better, what they can do differently.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.